So these are four questions that I think you should be aware of when reading a California bill. Now, there are definitely several tips for reading and understanding what a bill in the California Legislature is proposing to do. The key is to review the main sections of the bill, which contain obviously the substantive changes in the law. But I have four main tips for reading a bill in the California Legislature. And I do so by proposing or posing the following four questions for you to ask yourself. First, what is the bill proposing to do exactly? California bills can do three things: add a new section of law, amend an existing section, or repeal an existing section, and of course, any combination thereof. All bills clearly tell their readers what the bill is proposing to do. So, for example, you'll see in the title of the bill, which contains a relating clause, this example: an act to add section 11403.5 to the Welfare and Institutions Code relating to foster care. So the reader is told three things in this initial section of the bill, again called the title. First, a new section of law is being added, right? An act to add. The new section will be added to the Welfare and Institutions Code. And third, the topic of the bill is foster care, relating to foster care, the relating clause. Second question, what does the Legislative Council's Digest say? The Legislative Council's Digest provides a brief, unbiased summary of both existing law, in other words, what does state law in existence today provide or do? And second, what the bill proposes to do to existing law. Both of these provisions are clearly set forth for readers because the opening paragraphs under the words Legislative Council's Digest begin with the phrases existing law, and then explains what existing law is, and this bill would, and then explains what this bill would do. The digest provides in clear and unambiguous language an explanation that allows the reader to understand the subject matter of the bill and place it in context and to understand what this bill is proposing to add or change in existing law. So the following is an example. Existing law, the California Fostering Connections to Success Act, revises and expands the scope of various programs relating to the provision of cash assistance and other services to and for the benefit of certain foster and adopted children and other children who have been placed in out-of-home care, including children who receive AFDC, CalWORKS, KinGAP. Among other provisions, the Act extends specified foster care benefits to non-minor dependents up to 21 years of age if certain conditions are met. This bill would require the State Department of Social Services to convene a working group to examine the extended foster care program and make recommendations for improvements to the program. The bill would require the working group to submit a report to the legislature with the recommendations on or before July 1, 2022. The bill would require the working group to include representatives from specified state agencies and stakeholders. As you've heard, the reader is told that existing law has provisions related to cash assistance and other services for certain foster youth and adopted children, including that care benefits are available up to 21 years of age. Then the reader is told that this bill would, among other provisions, require a state agency to bring together a work group to examine the program and make improvement recommendations to the legislature. The third question is, what do the substantive provisions of the bill provide? Now that the reader has a general idea of what existing law provides and what this bill is proposing to do, readers can turn their attention to the statutory language contained in the rest of the bill. In reading a bill's provisions, scan the language initially to get a sense of the writing style and what the key words are. For example, recall that the word shall is mandatory, the word may is permissive. Check who the main actors are and what they're supposed to do or not do. Look for any definitions, which can give clear guidance to determine the scope of the bill's provisions. After your initial scan, the language should be read for comprehension, for understanding. What new language is being added to the law? What provisions might be repealed? How is existing law being amended? As you can imagine, some bills change just a few words in a statute, while other bills are many pages in length. Note that in California bills, that when they amend uh, new language into a bill, the words are in italics and in blue color on the internet when you're reviewing a bill. For language that is being repealed, these words are in strike through and in red color on the internet. Fourth and finally, are there any unique provisions of the bill? Usually at the end of a bill, there are so-called plus sections, which deal with issues such as whether a bill is an urgency statute, or it creates a state-mandated local program, or it constitutes a tax levy or a special statute. There could also be an operative date specified, i.e. when a bill's provisions take effect, or when a code section has a sunset date, that is when a bill will be repealed. There may also be legislative findings and declarations or statements of legislative intent. All of these types of provisions should be understood just like the substantive law changes found earlier in the bill. Taking this four-part approach to reading a bill, I think, will assist readers in gaining a better understanding of how a bill proposes to affect California law.